Did the Cleveland Cavaliers just make the move of the century, or did they completely panic? The Cavs just went all in, trading for none other than James Harden. Let's break down what this means, because this is a massive gamble. Okay, so here's the deal. The Cavaliers sent Darius Garland and a future second-round pick to get James Harden. On paper, it's a blockbuster. Harden, even at 36, is putting up wild numbers: 25 points, 8 assists, and nearly 5 rebounds a game. On the other side, Garland, who's only 26, has been struggling with injuries, and his reliability in the playoffs has been a major question mark. So what is the front office telling us? They're screaming, "We want to win now." They're sacrificing continuity for a higher immediate ceiling, betting that Harden is the final piece to their championship puzzle. They're basically looking at their current roster, with Donovan Mitchell in his prime, and saying, "Our window is right now, let's go for it." So, what does Harden actually bring to the court? First and foremost, elite playmaking. This guy is a pick-and-roll genius. The whole idea is to unlock Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen in a way we haven't seen before. Imagine Harden running the show, feeding our bigs for easy dunks and lobs all game long. It's a proven recipe for a high-powered offense. Plus, now you have two elite creators on the floor. Both Donovan Mitchell and James Harden can take over a game at any moment. This raises Cleveland's offensive ceiling way higher than it was with Garland. Come playoff time, defenses can't just load up on one guy. It becomes a pick-your-poison situation. Who do you double team? Who do you leave open? This move is designed to solve the offensive slumps that have plagued the Cavs in past playoff series. It's about creating matchup nightmares for opponents. But let's be real, this move comes with some serious risks. And the first one is defense. We all know Harden isn't exactly a lockdown defender. In fact, he's often a target for opposing offenses. Cleveland already had issues with their guards getting exposed on defense, and now they might have just made that problem even worse. It's a huge gamble to believe your team defense, with Mobley and Allen cleaning things up, can cover for Harden's defensive lapses, especially in the playoffs when every weakness is exploited. Then there's the big question: can two ball-dominant superstars coexist? There's only one basketball. Donovan Mitchell is the face of the franchise, but James Harden has famously called himself the system. While Garland adapted to playing more off-ball next to Mitchell, Harden has a long history of needing the ball in his hands to be effective. It works when roles are crystal clear and minutes are staggered. But it can implode when it becomes a daily negotiation of my turn, your turn. The chemistry between Mitchell and Harden will be the single most important factor in whether this experiment succeeds or fails. If they can't figure it out, this whole thing could blow up spectacularly. And we haven't even talked about the money. This is where it gets really tricky. Harden has a player option for next year worth around $40 million. And because of complicated NBA salary cap rules, the Cavaliers are now a second-apron team. This severely limits their ability to make any other roster moves. They can't easily sign free agents or make other trades. They are essentially locked into this core. Plus, Harden had to reduce his trade bonus just to make the deal legal under these new rules. It's a financial straitjacket. And here's the kicker: if Harden plays well, he's going to want one last massive contract. Cleveland will be backed into a corner. Either they pay him, potentially a huge overpay for an aging star, or they risk losing him for nothing after trading away a young all-star in Darius Garland. They've essentially traded Garland for a one-year rental with a very expensive option to extend. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room: playoff Harden. The man is a basketball genius, but his performance in elimination games has been inconsistent. Let's just look at the facts. In his last few Game 7 South, the numbers are rough. Against Denver, he scored just 7 points. Against Boston last year, he had 9 points on 3-for-11 shooting. You can't have your superstar disappear when it matters most. It's like his Wi-Fi strength. Sometimes you're getting a perfect, full bar connection, and other times you're in the basement struggling to load a single web page. The Cavaliers are betting they get the good version of Harden in April and May. It's a high-stakes roll of the dice. So what are the realistic expectations for the season? The goal is clearly to level up for the playoffs. Best-case scenario, the offense is unstoppable. Harden, Mitchell, Mobley, and Allen click perfectly. They feast on opponents and make a legitimate run to the Eastern Conference Finals, maybe even further with the right matchups. The most likely outcome, they're a tough out. They probably make it to the second round, but their defensive issues and clutch time chemistry get tested. Their ceiling is probably the conference finals, but it depends heavily on who they play. Worst case scenario, it's a disaster. The fit is awkward, defenses target Harden relentlessly, and they flame out in the first round again. That would lead to an absolutely brutal summer of finger-pointing and regret. The pressure is immense, and just for fun, let's look ahead to next year. There have been whispers, reports from guys like Joe Vardon at The Athletic, that LeBron James sees Cleveland as an obvious destination for a final season. Imagine that roster: LeBron, Harden, and Mitchell. On one hand, the basketball IQ would be off the charts. On the other hand, that's a lot of hands for just one ball. Not to mention, with the team already locked into the second apron, fitting LeBron in, even on a smaller deal, would be an accounting miracle. It's a fun thought, but the financial gymnastics would be insane. Ultimately, this trade puts the Cavaliers on one of two very different paths for the next 3 years. Path 1, the gamble pays off. Harden re-signs on a reasonable deal, Mitchell commits long-term, and Mobley continues his ascent to superstardom. This creates a real, legitimate championship contender window for the next few years. Path 2, the all-in move stalls. They have some deep playoff runs, but never get over the hump to win a ring. The roster gets older, more expensive, and they're stuck as a second-round team. And then there's the third path, the cliff. Harden leaves or his game falls off a cliff, Mitchell gets unhappy and demands a trade, and the Cavaliers are left to rebuild with very little flexibility because of the contracts on their books. They've raised their ceiling, but they've also raised the height of the potential cliff they could fall from. It's a bold, risky, and fascinating move. Only time will tell if it was genius or a panic move they'll live to regret. What do you guys think? Is this the move that brings a title back to Cleveland? Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Thanks for watching.